Hi guys, it's once again Lars Lehmann for Warwick in Germany. Warwick Amplification has a new range of Class D bass amplifiers out, featuring 4 sublines of bass amplifiers, which are the MS, the DS, the MC, and the PA line. These two guys come from the MC line. This is the MC300, and this is the MC500, featuring 500 watts of power at 4 ohms. Let's check them out together. Now the MC stands for multi-connect, and what that is these amps are actually capable of doing, a great deal of amazing things, such as they can serve as an audio interface to record your bass lines through the amp directly into your computer. They have individual level controls for the effects loop, right, for the send as well as for the return. And they also have a biamping feature, right? So if you're looking for a very tight and well-defined bass sound, you can split the signal into a lower part as well as a higher part and go to 2 separate caps. Very, very cool. So let's check these things out. So first things first, these amps are super light and the handling is great. The 500 comes in at 7 pounds and the 300 comes in at 6.81 pounds. Okay, let me run you through the front panel of the MC500, which is the same as in the MC300, right? First of all, we have the input jack, followed by a clip LED, and we have a knob for the gain control. This button here is for Bluetooth, right? Which enables you to connect your amp with your iPhone or mobile phone, mobile device, whatever, if you want to practice silently with headphones on, right? This button here is for the onboard tuner, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Then we have a 4-band EQ consisting of 2 stacked knobs, right? So this upper ring is for bass. The lower ring is for the low mids. Then we have a low ring for the high mids. And we have the upper ring for treble. Then we have a volume knob. And last but not least, we also have a mute button. Right? So if you want to practice or tune your bass silently, it's no problem at all. And last but not least, we have a headphones out. Okay, now I have switched the MC300 around to show you the rear panel, which is obviously the same as with the 500, right? So first of all, we have the power supply socket. We have the power knob on and off. We have the voltage selector. Usually you won't have to touch that thing because it's set already according to the country that you're in. Then we have an aux in, right? So if you want to connect your mobile device with your amp and you do not want to use the Bluetooth, you just use the aux in, okay? Next up, we have an effects loop, and here's something special. We have a send as well as a return, but you can adjust the amount of volume for both the send as well as the return, which is really something special in the scene of bass amplifiers. Let's say you have an overdrive pedal, an external overdrive pedal that you don't want to drive as hard. You just reduce the amount of volume of the send a tiny little bit. Very, very cool feature. Okay, next up we have a balance DI out, right, XLR, featuring a knob for a ground lift to get rid of any hum, and also a switch for pre and post EQ, right? This pre and post EQ switch also works for the USB port. And that is something very important because this amp can serve as an audio interface, go figure, to record your bass lines with. So just connect your computer to the USB port. You shouldn't be in need of any special drivers or stuff like that. It should work straight away. Now this leads us to this unit here, and this is the line out, which you can either run in full range mode or, which is also very, very cool, you can use it for biamping, right? Press this button, which is now a protection, which prevents me from pressing it accidentally. Press this button and the signal will be split up into 2 parts, right? So that one part contains all the bass information going to one cabinet, and the upper part, which comes out of this jack here, going to another cab, which contains all the mids and treble information. So if you're looking for a very, very well-defined bass sound, this is definitely what you want to do. Just press this button and you're in biamp mode. Now with that said, for the biamping mode, you will either need an active cab or a second amplifier / power amp like the Warwick PA head that we have. If you want to get more information about the biamping mode that these amps can deliver, we have another video concerning this whole subject. Now, last but not least, on the rear panel, and I've talked about this earlier, is the USB port. So you can use this very amp to record your bass lines on a computer without any drivers and stuff like that required. Now, if you're wondering about this cabinet that I'm using, this is actually a prototype for the new Warwick cabs. They're still undergoing a little tweaking and twisting, and they might look a lot different later on. So bear that in mind, okay? Also, what you are about to hear in my playing examples is a mixture of both the line signal as well as the mic signal. Now, one of the very, very cool features of all the new Warwick bass amps is the onboard tuner, right? So let me just switch that on for you guys. And now I'm gonna detune my G string. Now I'm gonna turn up my bass and watch these letters, guys. And there I am. If I'm going too far, watch the letters again. Right? Now I'm back at the green light, which means, of course, that I'm perfectly in tune. Now, if you want to tune silently, you want to use the mute button in between songs, for instance. However, it comes in very handy that the tuner is also working when you can hear your signal. Like if you're a fretless bass player, for instance, and if you want to check your tuning, like in a bad sound situation on stage, for instance. So take a look at the tuner. I'm going to play just a D major scale. D, C sharp, B, A, and so on. Right? Comes in very, very handy. Okay, next up, I'm gonna run you through the frequency range of each of the EQ knobs. I'm gonna start out with the bass knob, which is plus minus 15 dB at 50 Hertz. So I'm just gonna play one note here and turn the knob for you. This is no bass. Woo-hoo-hoo. You probably can't hear it, but the walls are shaking in here. This is the middle position. Okay, this is low mid in the middle. No low mid. Back in the middle position. This is high mid in the middle position, going down. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, and this is treble. That's the EQ. Okay, so here's a little playing for you on this beautiful Sadowsky 24-fret modern bass. This comes from the limited edition of the year 2025. I have bass almost at full blast. I have low mid and high mid at minus 20%, and treble is at minus 80%. And this is the front pickup of the Sadowsky bass. Here's a little slapping for you with both pickups on the Sadowsky bass. I have bass and treble at the amp at, I'd say, a boost of maybe 40 to 50%. Tiny little boost of the low mids, and I also tamed the high mids a little bit. Here's a nice pumping finger groove for you. I have this pickup on a little more than this one. Bass is at plus 50%, so are low mids. High mids are at a little boost of maybe 20% and 30% treble. Alright people, that was my demo of both the Warwick MC300 as well as the MC500. Amazing new amp line by Warwick. If you want to find out more about Warwick amps, basses or cabs, please go to warwick.de. Smash those like and subscribe buttons, hit the bell for notifications on the videos. Feel free to leave us a comment. We have new content coming up every week. That's it. Once again from me, I'm Lars, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.